Hello friends, my name is Smruti Vasavda and today we are going to start with the fourth module, that is legal and ethical issues in compensation. Talking about the next legal framework, that is employer not to reduce wages. Section 12 of the Payment of Wages Act prohibits an employer not to reduce directly or indirectly the wages of an employee to whom the scheme is entitled or to whom the total quantum of benefits, which includes the old age pension, gratuity, provident fund, life insurance, etc., to which the employee is entitled under the employment. Talking about the next legal framework, that is transfer of accounts. Section 17A of 1 states that the transfer of accounts can be done between two organizations or between two establishments. Let us understand this with an example. Suppose if there is an employee who is working with ABC company and he gets transferred or he leaves the job of ABC company and gets transferred to XYZ company. So automatically his account, the PF account, the Provident Fund account gets transferred from ABC to XYZ. And if any provisions are not made for the transfer of accounts, a special permission from central government needs to be taken by the employer or employee of XYZ company. Let us now talk about the next topic, that is pay commission. Wage boards are set up to deal with the various pay structures in different industries of both government and non-government. The central government has set up 7 commissions which reported in 1947, 1959, 1973, 1984, 1995, 2006 and 2016. The 7th Pay Commission, which reported in 2016, is the latest pay commission in India. There are various requirements for designing a sound pay system in the organization, which includes inclusiveness. Inclusiveness means each and every class of employees, each and every category of employees or establishments must be included in the pay commission. It has to assure that no one is left behind. The next one is comprehensibility. The pay commission must give a true and comprehensible picture of the remuneration given to the employees. The next one is adequacy. Adequacy means the pay given to the employee must be adequate to fulfill at least their basic necessities. It must be according to the prevailing market rate, and the employee must be able to afford the basic necessities or the basic standard of living. There are various criteria for wage determination, which includes comparison. The pay paid to the employees must be comparable to what the other organizations are paying to their employees. It must be able to achieve both internal and external equity. Internal equity is achieved when the pay is given to the employees according to the skills, knowledge, or according to the other employees of the same or similar position in the organization. Whereas external equity can be achieved when the pay is comparable to what other organizations are paying to their employees or according to the prevailing market rate. The next one is capacity to pay. Each and every organization must monitor its own capacity to pay their employees. It should not happen that the pay they are giving should go beyond the profit or the income that they are earning. There has to be a balance between the cost and income. The next one is cost of living. As I said, there has to be an adequate pay given to the employees so that they are able to achieve the minimum standard of living or they are able to afford the basic necessities. So accordingly, they are able to afford the cost of living by the pay given by the employers. Let us now move to the next topic, that is wage boards. Wage boards are tripartite in nature, having a chairperson, equal number of employers, employees, independent members, etc., and representatives of employers and employees. The constitution of a wage boards includes a chairperson, equal number of employers and employees, and 2 independent members which are nominated by the board. The basic function of the wage board is to determine wages of the employees of the concerned sector. The procedure of the wage board or for determining the wage is given by an appropriate government. And in case there is no procedure prescribed by the government, the wage board can evolve its own procedure. The criteria for the award includes all the prevalent market rate or the comparable market rate. For setting of or determining the wage board has to consider various factors such as the prevalent market rate or the skills, the knowledge, or the comparable worth and to maintain internal and external equity of the organization. The award of the wage board shall be based on the majority and shall be in writing. It shall be final and cannot be put to question by any court. And it remains in force or it remains in operation for 3 years, and it can be further extended for a specified period of time. Let us now move to the next topic, that is adjudication. Adjudication is a mandatory settlement of industrial disputes by a labor court or a tribunal. When the parties to the dispute fail to resolve the conflict by other methods, they switch to adjudication. On recommendation of the conciliation officer who had earlier dealt with the disputes are referred to adjudication. It is the most important instrument for resolving conflicts, but at the same time it is criticized for the delay involved in resolving the conflicts. Moving to the next topic, that is legal considerations in compensation. The first legal consideration is the maximum hours. It is the responsibility of the organization or the employer to not allow the workers to work beyond the maximum hours. The maximum hours is 8 hours per day if they are not working overtime and 48 hours in a week. So a worker or an employee is not allowed to work beyond 48 hours in a particular week. Coming to the next point, that is unemployment compensation for workers. There are various workers in many factories in organizations who remain unemployed after a particular assignment gets over and until they do not get any next assignment. So the period between the first assignment getting over and the allocation of the next assignment, they are unemployed. So it is the responsibility of the organization to compensate the workers for the period when they are unemployed. The next point is child labor protection. Each and every act, each and every rules and regulation prohibits child labor in any organization, in any factory or any establishment. So it is the responsibility or the legal consideration that needs to be taken care by the employer while employing any person in the organization. They has to see that the person they are employing is not minor in age. The next legal consideration includes overtime pay. As I said, the maximum hours that an employee needs to work or are allowed to work is 8 hours in a particular day, and beyond 8 hours is considered as overtime. So it is the responsibility of the employer to compensate the employee who is working beyond the minimum or beyond 8 hours in a particular day. So that is termed as overtime pay. The next legal consideration includes equal pay for both men and women. There shouldn't be any discrimination on the basis of gender, caste, creed, religion, or anything. the only thing that matters while discriminating or while wage differential includes skills or knowledge or the position in the organization. So there has to be equal pay for both men and women for the same or similar kind of work. The next legal consideration includes legal framework. Legal framework includes various acts such as Payment of Bonus Act, Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Provident Fund, Pension Scheme or Equal Remuneration Act, etc.